Awesome. So this class in this video is going to be primarily covering how to manifest with the new moon. I want to address something that's pretty important. A lot of people say not to manifest on new moon eclipses. I feel like it is 100% chaotic, 100% unstable, 100%. It has a whole lot of effects that are hard to handle. I feel also it's a perfect opportunity to ask for it regardless, because if you are hoping to grow, change, elevate yourself, you're gonna have to get uncomfortable anyways. And I rather seek out chaos than chaos seek me out. That's me personally. That's just my mindset. I grew up with a Sagittarius mom, so I'm used to things kind of like making sense as we move along. I don't know if anyone else has experienced that type of lifestyle or is comfortable in chaotic settings, but I have found that, without chaos, you can't really create structure either. And I shared this last class too. Last year when I used this moon to manifest, I asked for like 10,000 followers on Instagram. That's all I wanted. And I got substantially more, to the point where I was actually very overwhelmed. It was chaotic. It was unpredictable. Like it was way more than I actually intended. And I had to grow very fast. And I'm grateful for it, actually, because in the last year, I've changed my life completely. And I do feel like this can happen for you too, if you utilize the moon correctly. So just off the top, how to manifest and how to cleanse yourself. How do you use the new moon eclipse? I want you to know, whatever you do ask for, whatever you do seek out, if it's external, it's probably going to come through as all those things I listed before, which is, it's just going to be a little bit disruptive to your life. But again, if you're seeking change, if you're seeking growth, that's a good thing. If you're someone who can't deal with that, if you don't process stress well, don't do that. Just take a bath, okay? Just take a bath, chill, go to sleep, whatever. But if you're seeking change in your life, this is definitely the moon for it, because it's the last one of the year. We're going into 2022. Neptune just went direct, which means that our dreams, because Neptune, the planet, rules dreams, our dreams are now coming into alignment with us. What does it mean when a planet goes direct? It means that it was retrograde. So like Mercury goes retrograde and then it goes direct. Now it's going in the proper direction. So this is a time to like look at your dreams and say, okay, do I want to travel the world? Great. Where do I want to go? What do I want to do? Do I want to eat better? Okay, cool. What type of body type do I want? What tools and resources do I need? Do I need to get a kettlebell? Do I need to get a jump rope? Do I need to get a gym membership? Do I need to get a pull-up bar? Whatever you need, whatever you require, you want to manifest those things so that you can have them in abundance in your own personal manifestation. Does anyone have any questions so far?
I have a question. When it comes to manifesting, like, can you manifest a lot of things, or is it better to just focus on one thing, really detailed?
I personally manifest a lot of things and I go detailed.
Cool, thanks.
Yep. So when I was younger, when I was like 17, I remember the first time my mom asked me to leave the house. I made a long list of all of the material things that I wanted. And I was like, before I die, I'm going to buy a boat. I'm going to buy a speedboat. I'm going to get multiple cars. I'm going to get suits, like all this shit that I never had. And every year I've been chipping at that list since I was 17. I've been chipping at this list. And I think it's important to have a list of things that you want as your desires, because the only true way to become enlightened is to accept the things that you desire. A lot of people shy away from like having multiple relationships with people, being polyamorous, or having one relationship, or they shy away from wanting to make an amazing amount of money, millions of dollars. They're like, oh no, I wouldn't want that much. That'd be selfish. And it's like, you know, we print money faster than we can like think about it. So like you're not taking money from anyone, it's constantly being created. And even now, as we move into like things like crypto, money's really fake now. Like money was fake before, but money is really fake now. And if your mindset is out of alignment with what you truly desire, you're going to see a lot of people become millionaires because of their mindset, and you're going to see a lot of people be upset because of their mindset. Is that aligning with anyone?
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
1,000%.
Yep.
Cool. So usually on moons like this, especially because it's a fire sign, and I showed this to y'all last night. So right now, the transits, does anyone know what the transit is?
Is that when a planet is traveling through a different zodiac?
Yeah, pretty much. Transit is, it's like the weather. It's like I'm basically, what I'm doing is like, I'm the weather guy and I'm telling you what's going on in the cosmos, and I'm teaching you how to do it for yourself too. So right now it's Sun Sagittarius, Moon Sagittarius, Cancer rising, right? So the moon's in Sagittarius as we speak. The full moon or the new moon solar eclipse has already started. And the best way that we're going to manifest is by learning how to inspire and encourage ourselves and other people. So I'm going to go through, 1 second. I just had a crazy idea. I forgot that I can stream from my computer to YouTube or whatever. So when you're manifesting, when you're streaming, anything, consciously, unconsciously, what is it that you want? What are the things that you want? You want to write those down, and then you want to create an environment for that to happen. So if you want a new job, if you want a new car, if you want a new relationship, or if you want to improve the one you have now with your job, your car, your relationship, family members, anything, you want to write that down in depth. And I'll give you at the end of this video a breakdown of you know, how that can work best for you. So let's just go through quick all of the signs. So right now, Sun's in Sagittarius, the Moon's in Sagittarius, and rising is Cancer on the ascendant, right? So in this program that I use called Luna, it says here, the moon is now close to returning towards the conjunction and with the sun at a 45-degree angle behind the sun. A conjunction means two planets in the same exact house, and it means that they're in the same room. The next new moon is very near. We can feel the present cycle coming to an end, and the two states at the same time. On one hand, we're letting go of the present cycle, and we're also moving towards the future. This is a good time to withdraw from the world for a little while. The reason why we want to withdraw is so that we can plan these new strategies right here. We also want to take time to not act yet, but we do want to plan. A lot of astrologers misinform you. They say don't manifest on the new moon, but you should still plan. If you don't have a plan now going into 2022, what are you doing? I want you to just consider that. If you don't have a plan going into 2022, as this new moon is here, it's right now, what are you doing? That's the biggest thing, is you want to create your future plans for now, because doing so will help you make the changes that you need to. And again, what changes do you want to make? How do you want to change your life? How do you want to have a better and higher quality of life? It's a choice. And the moment you pick it is the moment that you step into that spiritually, mentally, physically, psychologically. You need all four of those to create a nice, strong pillar of change in your life. So what I like to do personally is I use something called the Law of Attraction Action Plan, something that I came up with in February. And it just goes down into the dirty details of, okay, I want this thing. This is how I get it. But we want to align that with your chart. So the easiest way for us to align it with your natal chart is going to be by looking at the qualities and the elements of your natal chart. Once we've addressed the qualities and the elements of your natal chart, then we can start to plan more efficiently based on your own energy. Now, if you've watched some of my other content before, I am not an astrologer. I'm actually a cosmologer. In cosmology, I study the cosmos. So a lot of people that you watch now or that you've been familiar with for like so far are astrologers. They tell you about the planets. I don't necessarily care about the planets. They're just there. I know what they do. I study asteroids, but at the core, I study the elements. The elements are more important than the zodiacs because without fire, water, earth, and air, none of this shit exists. It doesn't exist. Those are the core things. So when we're studying the zodiacs, we want to approach it from the standpoint of the elements. That will make your world so much easier, I promise. And it's important that you know all 4 elements so that you can learn all 12 zodiacs. Anyone have any questions so far? Cool. So when we're looking at the elements, the fire signs are Sagittarius, Leo, Aries. Write this down. Don't just listen to me. Write this down. Sagittarius, Leo, Aries are all of the fire signs. When we have fire going on in your chart, this is going to affect this new moon that is happening right this second is going to affect the fire sign houses in your chart. Okay. So every single person has fire sign houses. You do not need to have a planet there. You do not need to have anything in the house. Even if the house is intercepted and you have a repeating planet, you still have 3 houses that have fire. The way that you're going to utilize those houses with this new moon today, right now, is you want to focus on how can you inspire yourself and create something with enthusiasm as we move towards 2022. Do you want to get into fitness? Do you want to get into health? Do you want to get your bags up? Do you want to get into a better relationship? Do you want to become more spiritually aware? You need to figure out what inspires you. If you're someone who is depressed often, who's sad often, has a lot of anxiety, you need to get yourself around people who are fearless. You need to get yourself around people who are confident. You need to get yourself around people who are the opposite of you so that you can find a middle ground between the mind that you have now and the mind that you want. Is this making sense? Because I'm trying to make astrology so practical that you can't avoid it.
It makes sense.
Yeah, I do have a question. So right now, are you just, these are the basics, or this is applying directly to this new moon?
This is applying to this moon.
Okay, sorry.
So when I'm talking about the fire sign elements and the fire houses in your chart, I'm helping you plan, really. Is there a disconnect somewhere?
No, sorry.
Cool. So when we're focusing on how do we inspire ourselves and drive and create with enthusiasm, the reason why this is important is because wherever you have Sagittarius, Leo, and Aries in your chart, this is where you need to figure out, okay, is it in my first, second, third, fourth, fifth, all the way through 12th house? Find the 3 houses that it's in, and we're going to touch on those specific areas. We're going to touch on those specific areas because that's going to allow us to step into the actual power of using our chart. A lot of people, they think reading your chart is cool. What I discovered through some of my, when I did a past life regression earlier this year, and I was doing some Reiki, getting some Reiki performed on me, your natal chart, your birth chart actually controls your energy centers. The natal chart covers your energy centers, which are your chakras. Each zodiac holds a chakra. Okay. For example, the crown chakra is ruled by Aries. The heart chakra and the solar plexus, is Leo. And your root chakra is Sagittarius, shared with Capricorn. That's why Sagittarius rules the thighs. That's why a lot of people who utilize their chakras or meditate, they tap into their natal chart without trying to, because they're using their body. They're not trying to use just their brain. A lot of you are trying to use your brain, but you should be using your body, because your body is a vehicle, and that vehicle is your first house. Your first house is your body. Your first house is your body. If you didn't know what your rising sign was for, your rising sign is your body, literally. It's your whole vessel. Your soul goes from the first house to the 12th house in your chart. And that's the cycle that it goes through specifically for you, okay? And if you want to have more information on what that means, I have tons of content on YouTube and Patreon for you to execute on that piece. But for this day today, right now, we're going to talk strictly on the fire signs in your house, or in your houses, excuse me. So how do we drive and create enthusiasm? Again, putting yourself in a position to win by putting yourself in front of the people that inspire you and drive you to create things with enthusiasm. How do you do that for yourself? That's what I want you to question yourself on, so that we can plan correctly. If you are not easily motivated, what do you watch every day? What are you listening to? What are you eating? What are you drinking? Because those things are affecting your mental health, your spiritual health, your psychological health, and your physical health, right? So when we look at the fire sign in our charts, I'm going to give you some secrets on some things that I do and some things that I know. So if you have, wherever you have Leo, Sag, Aries, these three, this trifecta, this is how you want to utilize it, okay? So all the fire signs, what do they do again? Someone give me the answer. What do the fire signs do?
Inspire.
Give me the sentence.
They inspire. I just blinked and I'm a Sagittarius.
You're good. I need y'all to, so if you haven't screenshotted this, if you're not taking notes, take notes. If you're not screenshotting, screenshot, screen record, whatever you got to do. Remembering this is going to change your life. It's going to make things easier for you.
I know, and I have it written down like 15 times.
I believe it. This is it. So fire signs, they inspire, drive, and create with enthusiasm, right? So when you're utilizing this in your chart, you want to look at these three signs. And the thing is, there's Aries, Leo, Sag. Those are the signs in your houses, in your natal chart, where this moon is going to be affecting the most, because Sagittarius is making a trine. If you don't know what a trine is a triangle between the three signs, like we saw earlier. So the main one is cardinal signs. They like to initiate. So if you're in Aries, wherever Aries in your chart is, Aries rising, Aries sun, moon, wherever Aries is in your chart, even if the chart shows you that Aries in your chart is empty, it's where you initiate. It's where you're ambitious. It's where you are able to move on quickly. So how does this moon affect that part of your chart? It's going to give you this Sagittarius full moon. I'm going to give you the secret sauce right now. Sagittarius gives you a level of freedom that no other sign can give. And the reason why is because it's ruled by a planet called Jupiter. Jupiter in astrology talks about expansion and how you receive knowledge. Where does that knowledge come from? In ancient lores, every single story about Jupiter, which is known as Zeus. If you know who Zeus is, Zeus doesn't give a fuck. Zeus kind of just does whatever he wants, right? So I think that's like the easiest way I can conceptualize this for you today. Wherever you have fire, you're going to have this massive expansion of energy in your fire sign houses. So if you have Aries in your chart, which you definitely do, it's going to affect how you initiate, how you're ambitious, and how you're capable of moving on quickly. What does that mean? How do you use that information? Well, if you're inspiring yourself, let's just say tonight, today, tomorrow, this weekend, you start watching, you start studying that thing that you've always wanted to do on YouTube. And, you wrote down a plan saying, hey, by the end of the year, I want to master this craft. I want to actually become a tarot reader. I want to start underwater basket weaving. I want to work out 3 times a week. I want to eat better. I want to be alkaline based. I want to have a better relationship with people in my community. Having this Sagittarius new moon energy is going to affect that, because cardinal signs, which Aries is the fire sign cardinal sign, it's going to make you more initiatory, more ambitious, more capable of moving on from the things that are preventing you from hitting your goals. A lot of people call Aries selfish, but it's really, they're just capable of moving on quickly, because if something's not in alignment with them, they have to keep it pushing. Is this lining up for anyone? Is this confusing?
This makes perfect sense to me.
Cool. So also, when we look at the fixed signs in astrology, they are determined, productive, and capable of following through reliably. A lot of people, I can tell you, because I've read thousands of people, the only reason why you're not hitting your goals and the only reason why your life's not changing is because you're not fucking consistent. You have no sense of consistency. And I don't mean to be rude, I'm just being clear. Once you have created a sense of consistency in your life for yourself, where you can say, every day I do this thing for this reason, boom, you will start to get better. If you practice the guitar every single day, you will get good at playing the guitar. You may not play all the songs. You may not be able to, be the best guitarist in the world, but you will be better, right? So whenever you're looking to be more consistent with yourself, whenever you're looking to be more productive and being able to follow through with things that are important to you, you want to look at your fixed signs. All the fixed signs are Aquarius, Scorpio, Leo, and Taurus. But for this new moon eclipse, you want to focus in on Leo in your chart, okay? Because Leo is also making a triangle to Sagittarius, which means that wherever Leo is in your chart, if you're someone who's really struggling to be consistent with yourself, if you can't keep your word with yourself, who can you keep it with? Right? Once you can keep your word with yourself and say, okay, cool, I want to do this thing, and you keep that promise with yourself and you internally execute on it, you're telling your brain psychologically, I trust you. You said you're going to do something and you did it, which energetically, other people are going to start to trust you as well, because you trust yourself, right? Anyone?
Right.
Right.
Cool. So when you are starting to keep your own promises with yourself, this is where you start to tap into your fixed energy in your chart. I do practical astrology. I am a modern astrologer, technically. So I'm trying to teach you how to use your chart. I want you to use your chart. I don't want you to know it. I want you to use it, because once you use it, then you're becoming a starseed. You're stepping into your starseed energy. You're stepping into how you become you, all right? Once you can start to decide, okay, cool, this is the thing I want. I just need to be consistent and I need to keep going at it. Boom. That as a plan is going to help you execute on your goals. It's going to help you execute on the things that you want. Like I said, the best thing about the fire signs is that they inspire and drive you to create with enthusiasm. So Leo in your chart, what does Leo do? It inspires you and drives you to create with enthusiasm while being determined, productive, and capable of following through. So if you're someone who's looking to make changes in your life, you need to look at people in your life that are Leos, that have Leo energy. Watch interviews. I watch interviews of people like Lil Uzi. There's someone else, his name is, I can't remember his name. This dude, Ray Dalio. Does anyone know who Ray Dalio is?
Yes.
Yeah, Ray Dalio is a Leo, I think. He's either a Leo. Yeah, he's an August 8th Leo. Ray Dalio. So I don't know if you knew this. I went to school for business. I have a degree in business, and I also have a degree in administration, specifically with technology. So I was working at Best Buy corporate. My whole goal when I was 22, working this salary job at Best Buy corporate, was to become like one of the head leaders at Best Buy corporate and eventually become an angel investor and start to develop other technologies like on TechCrunch, and like just throwing, millions of dollars at companies that I believe in that, want to go into the future. I got sidetracked with spirituality. So I'm going to be, one of the reasons why I really fell in love with Ray Dalio's work is Ray Dalio is one of the few human beings alive that helps millionaires become billionaires. And I was like, who the fuck is this guy? How is this possible? He's a Leo. He's consistent. He's determined. He's productive because he's a fixed sign. Is this making sense to anyone?
Making sense. It makes sense.
So what does he do? What does Ray Dalio do? He just wrote a couple books a couple years ago. He's inspiring people and driving people to create with enthusiasm. Are you under, is this making, I'm trying to make this so clear for you. Is this lining up?
It makes sense.
Perfect, perfect, perfect. So when we are now, the most important piece is, how do we utilize the Sagittarian energy in our chart? Boom, this is gonna be the key. With the new moon, Kazemi is hitting at 2:43 a.m. EST. So for me, where I am, that's a different time than probably for you. What you want to do is you need to look at how do you want to inspire, drive, and create enthusiasm in a mutable way, because Sagittarius is a mutable sign. The reason why Sagittarius people are known to be quick to leave, quick to go, do, kind of do their own thing. They're honestly, Sagittarian people are almost always amazing entrepreneurs, because why? They are mutable signs. They are flexible. They're versatile, and they're capable of adapting to change, right? So if you're a Sagittarius placement with a planet inside the house, like me, I have my North Node and my moon there, which means my whole life's purpose and my emotions are tied up in Sagittarius energy, right? So the biggest and easiest way is, how do you want to utilize being flexible, versatile, and capable of adapting to change? If you want to change your life, do it. Stop talking. Do it. Go for it. You want to be a dancer? Do it. Dance. You want to travel the world? Do it. Make a plan, do it. Execute. You are going to die. You are guaranteed to die. Why? Because you're alive. So why not do it? I went homeless twice just so I could have this conversation with you, because I told myself I wanted to be a spiritual leader. It took actually less time than I thought it would, but it happened. And because it was hard, it allows me to be flexible and versatile and capable of adapting to change. I've gone so many days without eating that now when I eat, I'm so grateful. I don't even mind spending $150 on a dinner just for myself, because I went just last year, I went like 4 or 5 days without eating during quarantine. because no one wanted to spend money on readings. So I did a bunch of free readings and I had to learn how to be flexible. People would be like, oh, I don't have $30 actually to like pay you. Can I do 15? And I would say, you know what? Whatever you can do. I didn't complain about it. Why? Because I have a Sag moon. I'm flexible, versatile, and capable of adapting to things. I had to learn how to fast. I had to learn how to fast for the spiritual sake. I went so many days without eating last year. I don't even really want to get into it, but it allowed me to learn how to become a more Sagittarian person because I became mutable. I know I don't need food. Nobody needs food. There's breatharians. There's people in this world who have proved already you can go 40 days without eating, but yet we are slaves to the system of eating. We are slaves to the conditions of life. Okay, so how do you unprogram yourself so that you can reprogram yourself? Get flexible, get versatile, learn how to become capable of adapting to change like a Sagittarius. All right, how? By inspiring yourself to do so. When I was homeless, my best readings came out, my best videos came out, my best songs came out. When I was heartbroken, my best songs came out. The best times come through when you're struggling. If you're afraid of your success because you know it's going to hurt, how are you going to get to your success point? If I wasn't homeless, if I didn't not eat, we wouldn't be having this conversation. I've spent thousands of dollars on books, on astrology. I never saw this coming when I was 6 years old reading zodiac signs to my mom out the newspaper because I had a speech impediment. I never saw this coming, but here we are. And it makes sense because I went and did the childhood trauma work. I've been tapping into the Chiron placement, which I would advise you all make it your purpose to look at your Chiron, which goes direct on the 19th of December, by the way. So does anyone have any questions so far? Am I confusing anyone?
I do have a question.
Yeah.
So I think I might have saw on one of your TikToks that you want that we should focus on where these fire sign the placements of Sagittarius in our chart.
The houses.
Oh, the houses. Yeah. So if you don't have any what if you don't have Leo in Leo placements at all?
You don't need them. You need the house. That's all I care about. Because
Okay.
I know a lot of you are still learning astrology. There's a difference between placements and houses. Everyone has 12 houses and each house is ruled by a zodiac sign. And there's 12 zodiac signs. If you don't have something in a house, that doesn't mean it's not in your chart.
So is that why your mouse is right now? I see Leo.
Correct.
And it's kind of over the first and second house in a way.
Not.
Or
So the line that you see, it's always everything to the right is what it rules. So Leo rules this, Cancer rules this, Virgo rules this. There's no such thing as cusp. There's a cusp line, but there's no cusp zodiac signs. So a lot of people will say, "Oh, I'm a Aquarius and I'm a Capricorn and Aquarius cusp." There's no such thing. That's not real. That doesn't even make sense. And it's because there's a line here to divide it. So anytime you see, I use whole signs for the house system for teaching. For my personal use, when I'm reading charts, like right now, Leo is intercepted, so it shows up twice here. That doesn't mean there's double Leo. It just means that there's an intercepted line. This line here is cutting through because of another transit, which that's another layer of astrology that we don't need to cover right now. But just know that you have 12 houses and each house is ruled by a zodiac sign. If you do not have a planet in that house, it does not make a difference because you still have 12 houses and you still have 12 zodiacs. So when we're utilizing the energy, let's just say you have Leo and it's empty, like we're looking at this example here in this transit chart, the second house still has its own personal meaning. For example, the second house means finances, possessions. It has to do with like your physical body. So the first house has to do with your body. The second house is your physical body, like the bones, your muscles, your fat, your skin, all this stuff, your throat. Does that help you?
Yeah. Yeah,
Got
that
it.
makes sense.
Cool. So when we're looking at the different houses, and I have content already on the houses, go check out the YouTube, go check out the Patreon page. It's on sale for $9.99. I also do have, if you go to the link in my bio, in this copy thing, I just uploaded a how to read your natal chart. It's a whole thing there for you. And I included the class from last night, the new moon manifestation. I included the whole class there for $33.33. So if you want to learn what each of the houses means and everything, go ahead and check that out.
Okay.
Right? But to get back on topic, Sagittarius energy. Sagittarius energy is adapting, molding yourself, inspiring, and creating. Some other things that a Sagittarius and Sagittarius energy holds is travel. This is the perfect time to make your travel plans known internally and externally to yourself by making plans. This is the perfect time to, I made a video earlier about soulmates. The reason why Sagittarius is one of the signs that I choose for soulmates is because of the Jupiterian energy. Sagittarius is ruled by the planet Jupiter. Jupiter rules over 2 zodiac signs in traditional astrology. Traditional astrology is what came briefly after Hellenistic. Hellenistic astrology is what we used after we got used to Vedic sidereal astrology, which is under the house system called Lahiri. I'm saying a whole bunch of fucking words, none of them matter. But understand that when we're utilizing Sagittarius energy, it's because of this Jupiter. Jupiter, wherever it is, it expands, it grows, it creates more abundance, it creates more knowledge. That knowledge is not from Earth, though. That knowledge is from the cosmos. So that's why Sagittarius people are so nice. They're usually very good manifestors. Everyone's capable of manifesting, obviously, because everyone has Sagittarius in their chart. But Sagittarius does it in a way that they don't really give a fuck. Like they'll give you something of like very high value and they won't even care. I've had Sagittarius friends of mine give me whole ass computers that were like $1,200 and they're just like, yeah, I just had this, I don't need it. I've had Sagittarius people buy me plane tickets. I've had Sagittarius people just give me money because they have Jupiterian energy. Jupiter, again, is this massive planet. It's a huge planet and it's filled with wisdom, knowledge. It's gregarious. Gregarious means giving, okay? So if you really want to utilize the Sagittarius new moon, figure out how are you going to grow this year? How are you going to give more of yourself this year? Okay. That's the big thing. Last year when I did this, when I used this moon, I asked for 10K. What did I say I was going to do though? I said I was going to post every single day. I said that I was going to make more music. I said I was going to make more helpful content. Instead of just trying to be funny, I would educate. And that's what ended up happening. That's exactly what ended up happening because I planned for it. Because I had a goal, which was 10,000 followers, but you don't just get 10,000 followers. You don't just get $10,000. You don't just get 10,000 friends laying in bed, watching Netflix, eating fast food, beating yourself up for the small mistakes that you made years ago. You don't get where you're going blaming other people for why you still aren't where you need to go. You need to step into the Sagittarius energy of being able to adapt, of being able to recreate yourself, All right. So when you're learning your chart, this is I feel like a very positive, helpful mindset. This is my mindset. I'm hoping to share it with you because I know I have to die at some point. And I know I'm a very positive person because I have Sagittarius moon and North Node conjunct. So I'm like, okay, cool. How can I share this mindset? Because I call myself sometimes even delusional. I'm a delusional positive person. When I was homeless, I had a lot of fun. I had to, because other things would have happened if I didn't choose that. You feel me? So when you're going through your life and you hate your job, you hate your relationship, you hate your family, you dislike this, that's why shit's not going well. It's because your mindset isn't in the Sagittarian energy. When you utilize the Sagittarius in your chart, you start to tap into Jupiter. Jupiter expands and grows and gives. Okay. So how can we shift your mindset? First way, the easiest way is to make a plan. Okay. So this is an example of the law of attraction action plan that I made this a long time ago. Long time ago. This is an old one. Last edit was November 18th. It's December now. Last time I touched this was December 8th or November 18th. But when you're making a law of attraction action plan, and I've made several videos on this, I might make a specific video on just this alone because it has so much power by itself. But you want to pick out what your desire is, okay? At one point, I had 3,700 followers. I wanted to go to 10K on TikTok. Or this was actually Instagram when I made it, whatever. The reason why I picked social media is because I've noticed people who have large followings on social media, usually they're content creators. And what happens? Those people are making stuff for other people. They're doing something called light work. If you've done shadow work, I just dropped a song called Shadow Work. Please check it out. It's on Spotify. My music name is Sunny MF Money, just like every other handle. But shadow work is the work that you do internally. Light work is the work that you do externally. People always ask, what do you do for shadow work? Well, if you've ever seen me wearing an anime shirt, if you ever seen me wearing childhood things, it's because when I was a child, I was looking at those cartoons to avoid my feelings. So as an adult, I go to that same cartoon to access my feelings that I stored in those memories as a child. That's shadow work. When I'm wearing the clothes, that's light work. There's so many ways to do that. You can go and look at old projects that you did as a kid, old pictures of you as a kid. If you don't have any of those, go to your memories, go to the things that you need. If your desire is to heal, if you're using the law of attraction action plan and your desire is to heal, what do you want to heal from? Do you want to heal from your childhood trauma? Okay, cool. What part of your childhood trauma? Because you can't just heal your childhood trauma collectively and like get it done. You have to have a plan. So you want to say specifics. You want to go, all right, if I'm healing my childhood trauma around, people love to use this word, people pleasing. There's so many types of people pleasing. So childhood trauma, heal childhood trauma around giving more than I receive. If you didn't know, I really can't spell. I can read charts, I can read planets, but my spelling is getting worse. I don't know why. My brain is trying to compute. Is this making sense to anyone so far?
Yeah, it
Yes.
makes sense.
Yeah.
Cool. So when you're making your law of attraction action plan, what desires do you have? That's the first step. What desires do you have? What do you actually want? Admit it to yourself. Admit it to yourself, because once you start, saying, hey, you know what? I'm an expensive ass motherfucker. I want to make more money so I can buy expensive shit, so I can take care of my family, so I can be able to give people money, so I can be able to like help the world. you're on track because you're being honest. But if you keep selling yourself short and saying, yo, I actually, I just want to make a modest living. I just want a quiet house in this spot, and that's not what you actually align with, there's a resistance, and you're going to keep meeting that resistance until you actually address it, until you actually say, I have this desire and I want that thing. The next step is you need to make steps to complete. So when you're using this law of attraction action plan based on your chart, you want to use the Sagittarius in your chart. How? You want to look at which house does Sagittarius rule, because every single house rules over Sagittarius. This is no other astrologer is teaching you this, and I'm sure none of them are actually even doing what I'm doing. So really think about what I'm saying, because it's practical, it's sustainable, it's not that crazy. All right, go and find the Sagittarius in your chart, and then you want to look at the house. Right now, as we speak, I'm going to tell you what each house does so that you can know more clearly how it affects you. So who can tell me what Sagittarius means based on what I said earlier? Without making up any words, what does Sagittarius mean?
Inspire enthusiastically with by being flexible.
Perfect. So when you apply that, the next step is we want to add in to this inspiring person who's flexible and adaptable. We want to take that part of you, because that part of you is in your chart, which means it's a part of you. We want to take that into the houses. Now, each house has multiple meanings. For the sake of time, I'm going to Google houses in astrology meanings, because I want to show you when I didn't know anything about astrology, this is what I did. This is what I did. When I didn't have money, I remember there was a point in time when I was homeless, I was buying books on astrology. My first mentor, I was sleeping in her office for 3 months. I live in Minnesota. It was cold as shit every single night. So I'd wrap myself up in a blanket and I would fall asleep reading astrology books. And when I didn't understand the books, I would go and Google these things, because they didn't have the graphs in them at the time, because she has so many old books. Anyways, point is, I would Google what the houses mean. Y'all need to go and start doing your research. Okay, I'm one human being. I can't do everything for you. All right, I'm just going to lay that out there. I can only take you where I'm going, and I'm going to a place that I really care about. And if you want to come with, if you don't want to come with, I support both choices. So when you Google the 12 houses in astrology, I would even just take this and save it to your phone, save it to your desktop, whatever you need to. Anytime you're looking at your chart and studying your chart, transit, progress chart, your natal chart, your birth chart, whatever, or another person's chart, or even if you're using CoStar, you can say, oh, okay, the first house has to do with the self, appearance, beginnings, the body, the first impression, attitude, identity, approach to life. If you have Sagittarius in the first house, this is going to apply to what? Someone help me.
It'll apply to your body, right? Because you said the first house is your body.
Right, but what else? Based on what you see right here. Do you see this screen?
Mm-hmm.
So what else? If you have Sagittarius in the first house, how is this new moon going to affect you just by reading this first house?
So you would be
The new moon will affect and then you
self, appearance, beginning, the body, the first impression, attitude, identity, and approach to life.
You're literally a fucking genius. I'm serious. People who are geniuses are able to take complicated things and make them simple for themselves. That's what you should be doing. Make it easy on yourself. If you don't know the houses and you don't study astrology, go Google this save it to your phone. No one's asking you to memorize everything in astrology. No one's asking you to do that. Just use the tools around you, which everyone has access to a computer. Well, not everyone, but a lot of people have access to computers. A lot of people have access to phones. A lot of people have access to the internet. So let's utilize it. So let's just say, who has Sagittarius in a different house? Someone tell me what house, and then read off on this chart too, what that means for you. How is this new moon going to affect you?
I have Sag in my third house.
Mm-hmm.
So based off the chart, wait, where did it go?
Right here.
Oh, great. Mental activity, learning, siblings, and communication.
Okay, so what does Sagittarius mean? What does the third house mean? And then let's make a simple sentence. Anyone can do this. When we look at Sagittarius, when we look at the third house, let's make a sentence on what do those two concepts together mean? I'll do the first one and you do the second one. So you are more than likely going to be inspiring, or you're going to more than likely be inspired to learn something new. Otherwise, you wouldn't be in this class. So you tell me something else based on your Sagittarius third house. What else could this moon mean for you?
So inspire you to drive and create enthusiasm.
And you can pluck any one of those words out and add them with any one of these words in here. Just like the nice thing is, astrology is a puzzle, but the pieces don't have to go any one place. They are flexible pieces.
Communication.
What about it?
Inspiring.
What about
Communicating with enthusiasm. I can't even say the word.
You're doing great.
Communicating in, I can't say enthusiastic. Is
Just
it
slow down.
enthusiastic?
You're so enthusiastic, you can barely get the words out. That's crazy.
Yeah. That, yes. That's the word.
And enthusiasm is one of the things that fire signs do, right? Yes or no?
Right.
Cool. So who else has Sagittarius and what does it mean for you?
I have Sagittarius in my 9th house and 10th house.
It's one. So whichever one is the majority.
Oh,
There's no such thing as cusp. So look at your rising sign and then figure out, there's always going to be one zodiac sign over one house. Start with your rising sign and that'll tell you exactly which one. Are you using CoStar?
I'm actually using time passages.
Okay, cool. So count from your rising. What's your rising sign?
Pisces.
So you want to go from Pisces to Aries to Taurus to Gemini. I have this memorized. Cancer, Leo, Virgo. If Virgo's in your 7th house, or wait, Virgo's in your what house?
I think 7th, because you
Yeah.
said to the right. You moved to the right.
Yep, you move to the right.
So I think Sagittarius is in my 10th house.
Yep. So that has to do with what?
Career, status, reputation, vocation, purpose, taking power.
Have you been thinking about these things?
Well, it's crazy because I've actually been
Hold on 1 second. Is it crazy?
Not crazy. It's it's exciting
Right.
because I have been interviewing with a bunch of different companies. And I already have an offer that I've accepted, but I'm still interviewing with other companies.
Of course. And that is a result of your Sagittarius 10th house and this new moon in Sagittarius. Are we seeing how this is lining up, everybody?
Yeah.
Once you can read your chart, which is my overall goal, because I don't like reading charts. I never liked reading charts. I like reading my own chart. And I barely read my own chart. I read it once a day, but I barely read my own chart. But at the same time, once you can read yours, you'll know the cycles of your own life. You'll be like, oh, of course I need to leave this job. Oh, of course I need to leave this relationship. Oh, of course I need to stop doing this thing because I'm stepping into something better. But if you're not taking the time to predict yourself or be the author of your own story, you're going to miss out on a lot of the enjoyment of life, which is to do what you want to do. So having a 10th house Sagittarius as a Pisces rising, of course, this is going to affect your career, your status, your reputation. Of course, you're going to interviews. Of course, you haven't picked yet because the new moon isn't done. And I promise you, if you were to write down in your law of attraction action plan that one of your desires is that the company that you end up choosing gives you more money than you actually even bargained for, it'll happen. This is spiritual science. This is shit that no one is talking about because it's dangerous. Anyone have any questions?
I have a quick question.
What's popping?
So for reading your chart, you said start at your rising and then go to the right. Yes?
Unless you can see the Sagittarius symbol over a house, you don't need to do all that, but you can if you can't just tell off the top. But the Sagittarius symbol looks like this, the bow and arrow.
Okay.
So what does Sag mean for you?
Mine is in the 8th house. So that is in sex, death, letting go, regeneration, other people's money sharing.
What does Sagittarius in the 8th house mean?
So it means
You can just pull any one of the single words from the fire sign or even from the mutable sign, which I'll pull that up for you quick. You can choose inspires, drives, creates, enthusiasm, flexible, versatile, adaptable, and then insert that word into the 8th house. And that will give you everything you need to know about Sagittarius 8th house.
I think for me, it's driving to letting go, which very much resonates with me at the moment, very much so.
It's because it's your chart.
Makes sense. Yeah.
All you got to do is believe. The patterns show up. I think one of the most exciting moments in my life, what's up, Fran? One of the most exciting points in my life was when you start noticing who you date and who you work with, who your family members are, who your friends are. When you meet someone, whenever I meet someone, I ask them right away, like, what's your sign? After I ask their name, because I want to see where they fall in my chart. How are they going to affect me? What if you don't resonate with the Sag in your chart for the new moon? That's really general. I don't understand. What house is it in and how does it not touch any of the things in your chart? If you could tell me, Fran, where Sag is in your chart and tell me also all of the things that are inside the house, do you feel like you're not learning something by being in this class if it's in the 3rd house, Fran? Just by sitting in this class, Fran, you're touching on it right now. Being a 3rd house Sagittarius, 3rd house has to do with learning, and you're in a class. when you start to add the planets of Mercury and Pluto, that adds more context, but this is not that class to talk about that. Is Fran still here or did she just leave? Her name went gray. I think that means she left. All right.
Sorry, I'm still here. I was having difficulty with my audio, but I was just wondering, because like I'm not really resonating with the third house right now. And I was wondering if I'd see more of the effects after the new moon.
Like I said, you're in a class though. Like the third house does have to do with learning. So you're already in it.
Thank you.
Yeah. There will be effects moving forward for sure. If you have more mental activity, if you have like, different, do you have siblings?
No, I don't have any. I'm an only child.
Okay, that's totally fine. How's your communication?
I feel like it's pretty okay. I've been really antisocial lately. Like I've just been keeping to myself for like the healing progress.
Right. Yeah, so that's the eclipse. Well, at the beginning of this class, we did talk about, this new moon bringing us into a place where we want to be alone. And that's happening with your third house, with your communication. So it does actually, I mean, I'm not you, but I feel like that does resonate.
It does. Thank you so much for explaining it.
Cool. Anyone else have questions? Lit. So this is how the new moon affects all of us. Like I said, this is a great time to just study in our charts. Boom. What does it mean for each of us looking at this? And boom, taking the time to plan. So when we go back to the law of attraction action plan, we want to utilize this more efficiently. So I have a 9th house Sag. So what does the 9th house have to do with? 9th house has to do with higher education, philosophy, publishing, religion, travel, law. I create a full-time income from teaching. Higher education, which this isn't technically even a manifestation because I'm already doing this as we speak. Like I said before, I didn't plan on being a teacher. I never thought to be a teacher, but when I saw that my moon and my north node were in Sagittarius in the 9th house, it helped me understand that I'm not supposed to be reading charts. I'm supposed to teach higher education, philosophy. I'm supposed to publish books. I'm supposed to create a religion off of astrology. I'm supposed to travel and talk about things that have to do with astrology. I'm supposed to create laws and rules around astrology because a lot of people, there aren't any right now. It's still a spiritual science. It hasn't been edified into more of the religious piece, but I don't even want astrology to be religious. I just want it to be more of a science. So when I go into my law of attraction action plan, I write down, I create a full-time income off of teaching higher education. And what else does the 9th house have to do with? And complete my books to share them with the world. And then in parentheses, I'll say, I want to sell 100 books. I want to sell 100 books next year. I'm hoping I can sell more, but I think a nice, modest, easy amount is 100 books. 100 books. Okay, so I'm going to write that down as my desire. Now, what steps do I need to take? Complete the book. publish books, notarize book, have the book edited by an editor, all kinds of just random plans, right? And because I'm taking the time to like plan it out, it's more likely to happen because I'm chewing it. I'm taking my big dreams, which years ago, I didn't even think that I would be in a position to write a book, but I've already finished 3. I just haven't put them out. Outside of making content and all this stuff, I've been typing all my ideas out on paper, or excuse me, online, and just like collecting all this information that I've been, like anytime I get an intuitive hit, I just write it down in my journal or my notebook. And then if I need to type it out, I type it out. And then I send it to someone. I'm like, does this make sense to you? And I've been chipping at these things already, but I'm writing it down here to give you an example, because you're probably doing the same thing. The things that you want to accomplish, you've probably already been chipping at them, but you haven't had a plan possibly that you've been following to make it a reality. Is this aligning with anyone?
Yeah, I feel like you just read me.
Yes, for sure.
Cool. So next is on your law of attraction action plan, which this thing saved my life. I've literally been so depressed this year because there's been so much shit that I didn't expect. People, places, things, ideas coming up that I never predicted. Easily could have predicted it. But step 3 is who's in charge? Me, you, whoever is, directly in like managing pieces of your desires. Those are the people. I really, really try to keep things down to me until, I have an assistant, publisher, a distributor, and then a marketing manager, something like that, right? Who are these people? I usually try to just keep it to me, but more than likely, I'll be honest with you. I've been my own assistant. I've been my own publisher, distributor, marketing manager in my current business. So if that's the way it works, cool. But if it's just, if I also get these 4 people in one person and 2 people, 3 people, bet I'm cool with that. I'm happy with that. And that'll make it easier. A lot of times when we're trying to do something, people hesitate to pay money to people because they're like, oh, I've been burned before by family members, or the kid from church said he was going to do my website in 2006 and he never did it. Well, okay, Karen, great. How about we make a plan and actually hire someone who is an assistant, who is a publisher, a distributor. And if it costs a few $100s, what are you going to get out of that? If it costs you a couple $100s, for example, if I need to pay a distributor or publisher a couple $100s to do something for me, but each of my books cost $20, that if I'd sell 100 books at $20, that's $2,000. If I spent $200 and I make $2,000, that is not something to even think about. That's not a conversation I should even be having with myself. It's an obvious thing to do. Are you seeing my math? Is it mathing?
Yes.
I went to school for business. So it's just like, if I can do something to save myself time and pay money to someone else to teach me or do something for me, I'm going to. Even if it sets me back, it's gonna set me forward at the same time, because I'm investing in myself. And I encourage you to invest in yourself. Pour all your funds, all your extra funds into the thing that you want to do, into your hobby, into the thing that you love, because this is your life. Why hesitate? Next, number 4, what tasks you need to do daily? Well, I need to write daily. There's no way around this. If you want to lose weight, change your diet, become, you know, a fashion person. If you want to be a more inspirational person, if you want to be an influencer, if you want to be more spiritually connected to your guides, to your ancestors, you have to do it every day. There's 24 hours in a day. Figure out what's taking your time. What's stealing your time? Is it talking to people? Is it gossiping? Is it eating when you know you should be doing something? Is it, you know, cleaning your house in the middle of the night when you could be, you know, sleeping? What is it that you need to alter in your life and write it down? Even if you don't do it right away, have a plan in place so that you can execute on it. Whenever you're feeling lost and stuck, you'll have a plan that you can fall back on and say, oh yeah, I'm not stressed. I'm just not following my plan, and my body is telling me that it's not happy about that. I'm going to go back to the plan so that I can feel a sense of accomplishment so I can sleep really well tonight. Okay. Next is number 5. What resources do you need? Most of the time, to do a lot of the things we want to do, we need lights, phone, internet. And I personally, I feel like fruit is the most high vibrational food we have on earth outside of water. Or water's not food, but it's food. But I feel like fruit, because it does hold the most water anyways, but I feel like fruit is one of the best things you can have in your body. There's no way around that. If you're not eating fruit, I want to inspire you today to eat more fruit. Fruit will save you. If you disagree with me, that's fine. I know I'm right. Fruit is great. Whenever I've been like super sad and depressed, I eat fruit for like a day or two and I feel fine, because gut health is a very serious thing. It helps you digest. It gives you all kinds of sugars. It naturally has water. So there's just so many benefits, right? Lastly, number 6, how do you measure your progress? Let me add in here. What resources do I need? I need to how do I measure my progress? Check in with myself every week on my book's progress. Build an accountability team for my book's progress. Okay. Is this aligning? I'm trying to make this so practical, super spiritual, super practical, attainable.
Yes.
So right here, I'm using the 9th house to make this, or I'm using my Sagittarius house and sign to make this plan. Now, if we want to go deeper, which I'll do it for a second, I think someone said earlier they have Mercury and Pluto. Fran said she has Mercury and Pluto in her 3rd house. I'm going to pretend that I have Mercury and Pluto in my 9th house. So when I go back to the top of my plan, Mercury rules thinking, communication, Pluto rules wealth. So how would I add that in here? I become a better communicator with the masses and the personal / professional relationships in my life. When I add Pluto in there, Pluto rules wealth. Pluto rules power. I become powerful with no harm to others about, I become powerful through my wealth and success. Okay. That's how you would use that. And if you don't know what the planets mean, you know me at this point, I'm going to tell you to go Google that shit. I'm not going to sit here and do that again. What do the planets mean? Oh, look, someone made a whole thing for us already. There's so many resources out here. There's really no excuse at this point. All right, there's no excuse. If you have Sun in Sag, if you have Moon in Sag, if you have Mercury in Sag, you can go and utilize all of this. You know, if you have Neptune in Sag, Pluto in Sag, transformation, power, death, rebirth, evolution, all of these things, you just want to put it into your plan. You know, oh, my desire is to transform. My desire is to, you know, create more power. My desire is to avoid death, to learn through the people who have died in my life, to rebirth myself when I go through challenging situations, to evolve in the moments where, you know, I feel like I'm stuck. You have to tell yourself what you want your body to do, what you want your mind to do, what you want your soul to do. Otherwise, someone else is going to write it for you. If you're not the author for your next chapter, Joe Byron, I know it's kind of weird, but Joe Byron is going to help you. The government's going to help you. Your job's going to help you. Your friends are going to help you. If you don't choose what you want, they are going to choose for you. Who do you trust inside of your body? You or others? So that concludes the new moon topic. I feel like that's like really the bulk of everything in regards to the law of attraction action plan, how to use it, how to look at your chart for these purposes. The other thing I wanted to briefly cover real quick is when you look at your chart, you can use these same topics and themes that I was sharing with you on how to actually create an environment for yourself with manifesting. So when we're looking at our chart, our birth chart, there's 4 ways you can manifest. There's always going to be 4 ways you can manifest. There's 4 ways you can cleanse. And these 4 ways you can utilize in any way, shape, or form that works best for you. But if you have a, if you're mostly a water person, or just to utilize the water in your chart with this new moon, you can use water spells. All you got to do is affirm the water. I talked about this last night, but you could use plants. There's something called Rose of Jericho as one example. It's a water-based plant. You can just like use this. This is a combination of water and earth, but you want to use water. This is why I said earlier, take a bath. All right. If you want to use candles, totally cool too. Use candles. If you're a Sagittarius or Sagittarius placement, I showed y'all yesterday. I use candle magic a lot because I have fire. I have a lot of fire in my chart. So I consecrate candles. I put oil on the candles. If I want to attract using a candle, I go from the bottom into the middle and from the top to the middle to attract with oil. If I want to repel energies that I don't want, I go from the middle down and up with the oil. What kind of oil? Any oil that you find and deem worthy. If it's expensive, if it's cheap, doesn't make a difference as long as you take action. Most of everything that I'm talking about here today is you taking action. The more action you take, the more you get done. The more you get done, the better you sleep, the more your headaches go away because your body is processing instead of your mind. If your mind is not being utilized correctly, you're gonna get headaches. If you're not breathing well, you're gonna get headaches. If you're not drinking enough water, you're gonna get headaches. If you don't have a plan and you're getting stressed out, you're gonna get headaches. I haven't had a headache in years because I make sure to stimulate my mind, reading, learning, drinking water, exercising, doing breathing techniques. All of this stuff gets the blood going. Take care of your body. It's the only thing you own. Next is if you have air sign placements or a lot of air in your chart, you need to affirm yourself. You need to speak out loud. A lot of people, they contain the things that they want, the things that they deserve in their body. I use something called the oath of manifestation. It's this lady, you can even find it online. I've seen people do it on TikTok too. The oath of manifestation, this woman goes through and affirms herself in a record. You can listen to a recording. You can go to YouTube and just listen to, excuse me. You can listen to some of the content that I have. I have these things called planetary chants for you. And it goes through each of the days. I haven't put in, I'm not going to yet, at least, put in the other days, but there are planetary chants here available for you for each day of the week. Let me go back. So for example, if you need to affirm yourself, listen to someone chanting or chant yourself or pray or go to your altar, do something with your mouth. You need to go and talk. You need to have a conversation with yourself. If you can't talk to yourself, why would anyone want to talk to you? Build your relationship with yourself by affirming yourself, saying to yourself, I am a positive person. I am someone who is, energetically aligned with the things that make sense to me. The things that I do help myself and other people. You need to speak kindly to yourself. Otherwise, you're speaking poorly about yourself. Sometimes I'll make a friend and they'll say something like, oh, I'm a piece of shit, joking. And I'm like, what are you doing? Like, your brain doesn't know that you're joking. Your brain doesn't know, your brain doesn't operate off of humor. It operates off of intellect. It operates off of wit. And if you're insulting yourself as a joke, just like the bully did when you were a little kid, you're bringing up that same trauma, except you are doing it to yourself. It's like cutting yourself mentally. Dangerous stuff. Anyway, next is, we covered fire, we covered water, we covered air. Planting a seed, getting your crystals out. A lot of people say don't put your crystals out during solar eclipses because it's going to have chaotic energy. If you don't want to, don't do it. You can also put your crystals in your plants. I keep crystals and stones in my plants, near my plants, around my bed, around my bathtub. I have them everywhere in my house, and I charge them when I need to, when I feel the need to. Do what you want to do. There's no rules on this yet. It's about, what does your body, what does your mind, what does your intuition say? What is your intuition? It's that tiny voice in your head that you don't talk about to anyone else. When you have that random thought come into your head and you're like, oh, I should do that, and then you don't, that's where you stop trusting yourself. That's where you avoid those fixed signs that we talked about earlier. But because this is a Sagittarius moon, this is the right time to adapt, be flexible, be open to change, and act on it, because Sagittarius takes action. Sagittarius is a mutable fire sign. So if you have an idea, if you have a question, I know some of you probably have questions and you're like, oh, should I try? Yes. Should I do? Yes, you should try it. I'm not the only person who makes the rules. You might see me as an authority figure, but I'm not going to tell you to not innovate off of what I've shared with you. I'm going to have you innovate off of what I've shared with you because I want to see what your genius does. So that's the presentation, y'all. I appreciate you taking the time.
I have a question.
What's up?
So I know you said you can only have one, the sign can only be in one house. What does it mean if you have multiple multiple signs in the same house?
Were you here when I talked about interceptions earlier?
A little bit. I don't remember what you said though.
What?
I don't remember what you said.
I told you. So they're called interceptions. An intercepted line in this astrological chart occurs when a sign is totally contained in one of the houses, but does not appear to have the cusp of the house. When a sign is intercepted, the sign opposite will be intercepted as well. What does it mean? I personally ignore interceptions because they don't have shit to do with shit. I just care about the 12 houses, but a lot of other astrologers do care. You said it's over your sun?
No, I was just saying, like, I was going through my chart and I have like Aquarius, multiple planets in Aquarius in 11th house.
So it's not intercepted, you just have multiple planets?
I guess so. Hold on one second. Let me look again.
Okay.
Well, because it is actually because I have like Capricorn in the 11th house, Aquarius in the 11th house, 2 Aquarius in the 11th house.
What does this have to do with Sagittarius?
It doesn't. I was just wondering what that means.
Okay, when you have multiple planets in one house, it's called a stellium. And that means that that part of your chart outweighs your sun sign in terms of like what you're going to be doing with yourself. And how do you know? You have to go and look again at all the planets. I have videos on this. Go check those out. Okay. This is not that class though.
All right, thank you.
Any other questions on what we've talked about today?
For the manifesting, for ways to manifest, what did you say for the fire? How to utilize your fire signs to manifest for this new moon?
Yeah, so I use candles. I also use basil leaves. I'll write down an intention or a thing that I want on a basil leaf with a Sharpie pen, and then I'll burn the basil leaf. You can put cinnamon on the basil leaf. You can put like herbs on the basil leaf if you want to. Sometimes I've even like taken the candle wax and I'll put it on the basil leaf, and then I'll use the basil leaf inside the water and I'll divinate. That's a whole other fucking holy shit. That's a whole other thing that I don't really talk about, but burn something is my point. Burn incense, burn a candle, burn a leaf, burn a piece of money, whatever you want to burn it. Don't burn a house down, obviously, but fire means fire. As long as you have an intention set, which if you make this law of attraction action plan, that's your intention. Burn a candle with this in mind and say that, I'm offering this candle energy for this reason. Is that clear enough?
Yep, totally clear.
Yeah, I would love to answer miscellaneous questions, but we're recording and this class was specifically for the new moon. So I really just want to keep things around that, keep things tight. If you have other questions, this isn't that class. This is just a space for us to manifest, because the new moon's now. If you want to learn how to read your chart, like I said, I have so many hours and hours and hours of video stuff recorded for you, because it's not for me. I don't need it anymore. I do this for you. So please go check that out. I feel like it'll be of value to you. If you've liked this class, I give tons of information in the other classes. If you've been in any of my classes, I always give tons of information and tons of value and tons of practical tips on how to actually read your chart, use your chart, using spirituality in general, because a lot of the stuff that I've seen on TikTok is regurgitated. Let's do new moon water. Let's do this manifestation. Let's write this down for 367,000 days, all this stuff. And none of it worked for me because life doesn't work like that for me. So I had to recreate systems, and these things are things that I went to school for. I'm just applying my business degree to spirituality now. And it's working. I don't have Zelle, actually. Thank you for asking. Anyone else have questions? And who was it that asked about the stellium again?
It was Lauren.
I answered your question. Did you hear me?
Yeah, I heard it. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, and then this is an article. I'll type it in the chat for you too. If you want to learn more on intercepted signs. I don't professionally or personally use or care about interceptions. I think they're like a huge waste of time, but they're important to some people because it does show up. But even in this first sentence, astrologers have different opinions on the meanings of interceptions. Once I read that, I kind of lose interest. I'm like, you can make your own theory. Okay, it's not that serious then. Like, it's just a imaginary line. And there's a lot of those in astrology. Until you know how to read your chart through and through, don't even think about that shit. Until you know all 12 houses, all 12 zodiac signs, don't confuse yourself. Don't make things harder than they need to be. Focus on the basics. Focus on learning how to cook the rice in the pot with the water and the lid. Then you can start, doing fried rice. Learn how to make the rice first. Then we can start doing the extra shit.
I have one quick question.
Mhm.
When you were discussing, someone had mentioned they had Mercury, I think, and another planet in a certain house or in Sagittarius. So we could go deeper, I guess, or get more detailed when we're writing out our desires on our law of attraction plan by taking all of those placements in Sagittarius and what those placements mean, like those planets mean.
Correct.
Okay, gotcha.
So what I did, just to show you as an example, was I went to I Googled, what do the planets mean? I found a PDF out of, the millions that people have made. The reason why I don't do any of this stuff is because people have already done it. It's like the information's out here, right? All you got to do is just Google it, pick something. If you have a sun sign in Sag, boom, you just need to say, oh, okay, this new moon's going to affect my individuality, my pride, my success, my energy, my display, my honors. And if you want to manifest something on that list that you don't have, you just type it out. you'd say, this new moon helps my, and then you just pick success or pride. Become better for the sake of myself and others. Something like that. Get creative. I can't make your, I'm not going to make your law of attraction action plan for you. I can just show you how I do it. Go as deep as you want. If you want to keep it bland, if you want to keep it like basic, that's also good, because practicing is more important than, you know, doing it perfectly. I use this once a week. I have like 30 of these floating around in my Google Drive. I have so many of these. Do not be afraid to alter it. Do not be afraid to change it. Do not be afraid to just fucking delete the whole thing and start over. Because that's life sometimes. And when the new moon or full moon comes, you can use this same thing over and over and over. Just make sure that you have it written out or typed out. I keep a blank one typed out always, and I just make copies of it on my computer. So I always have plans that I'm executing on, and I can go back and look and say, oh, I did this and I didn't do this. And the most important thing is measuring your progress. A lot of people, like I said before, a lot of people are already not consistent with themselves, to themselves. But then if you're not measuring your progress, how are you going to know that you're getting stuff done? Because people usually, when they get stuff done, when they complete things, they celebrate or they like give themselves a pat on the back. But if you're not doing the things you want to do and you're not measuring your progress, you're going to constantly feel like a failure because there's nothing to go off of. And you're not being accountable to yourself. So yeah, your body's going to be upset with you. Your mind's going to be upset with you. Your soul is going to be upset. It's going to be like, yo, why are we even here? What are we even doing? I've seen so many people on TikTok. They're like, I just came to Earth to live and die. And I'm like, I really doubt that. Like the fact that you say it and you perpetuate it, it's making it a reality. But I really doubt that that's why you came here, strictly. Everyone's important. Everyone's powerful. That's just what I think, though. I can't really speak for anyone else. Anyone else have a question? I got to get going. I got to make my law of attraction plan.
Nope, me too.
For this manifestation and doing a law of attraction, I know that you gave a time, like, so should we have it all done by that time or?
Now.
Oh, okay.
Don't do it now. Do it now. Do it right now. Get it out the way. What are you waiting for? Actually answer that question.
One question, I mean, to piggyback off of what she just said, what was that time again?
2:43 a.m. in the morning. You're probably not going to be awake, so do it
okay.
now.
Gotcha.
I was just wondering because if like I take a bath exactly at that time, because I have a lot of, would that intensify it or anything? But I feel like
yes, I do personally. I try to meditate at the exact time of the Kazemi when the sun crosses the moon. Personally, that's just what I do.
Okay, so 2:43 you said?
2:43 p or a.m. C, that's EST.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yeah. Also, if you're looking to take this to the next level, get yourself an astrology planner. I have one of these. This motherfucker is so nice. Honestly, an astrological planner helps you know when all your moons and when all your full moons and new moons are coming. There's so many types. Don't ask me which one to get. Pick the one that you like. There's this one's pretty as fuck. But they're like, how much is this? I actually might want one. I might grab one. Let me see. $45. That's worth it. Why? Because I get to plan all of the days that align with Pisces, that align with Aries, that align with Sag in my chart. In fact, I get to choose and plan around everything in my chart because I know when the moon is happening. You know, most of you have cycles if your birth control permits. So that means that you can plan to rest more in alignment with your cycle. And if you're a white moon, purple moon, you know, red moon cycler, all these pink moon cycler, you can more efficiently line up with the new moon, with the full moons. And that's a whole other class that I could do, honestly, because I have so much information. The only reason why I don't share a lot of this shit on TikTok, it's a lot. And a lot of people, I realize, they're still focused. They're still learning the 12 zodiacs. Like, a lot of people don't even know they have 12 houses yet. And that's very frustrating because there's millions of astrologers and no one's talking about it. It makes me livid. Because we could easily remind people, oh yeah, you have 12 houses, you have 12 zodiacs. You're not just your sun sign. You're not just your sun, moon, and rising. You're actually this very complicated, beautiful person who's amazing, and you need to study yourself. Otherwise, you're going to go through life wondering who you are. So I hope this class resonated with you. If this is your first time here, gratitude. Thanks for popping in. My name's Sunny MF Money. Like I said before, I did go to school for business. I love money. I will never deny that. I do everything I do for money because I like buying my mom nice things. I like giving my brother stuff. I like buying my friends stuff. That's just who I am. So please send me all your money. Empty your bank accounts. Send it to me. I would love that. But if you also just want to send me a tip and tie it to me, anything is appreciated. I'm super grateful for whatever you do give me because I know I'm pushing out tons of value. Eventually, I'm always going to line up with who I need to line up with. And today, that was you. No one's talking. I feel awkward.
I just want to say thank you for this. This has been very valuable to me.
Lit.
Same,
Yeah,
thank you.
Same here.
You're welcome.
Yeah, I just so happened to find this on TikTok.
Thank
and then
you.
I literally signed up today. So thank you.
Yeah, I tried to post. I posted like 8 times today about it. I was like, how can I get people in here? I'm grateful you found some value. Again, do I have your permission to share this with others? Because I feel like I want to post this on like YouTube or something. I don't know if anyone will watch the whole thing, but at least at least I can say I did it. Because people call me selfish all the time. And I'm like, bro, have you met me?
I'm fine with you sharing it.
This is not selfish at all. The opposite.
Yeah, people have judgments. Being a Black man is really fucking hard. A lot of people don't take me as a professional and they don't think I know what I'm talking about. And yeah, just being a Black man's heart in the spiritual community as well. I'm like literally 0.5%. It's pretty interesting. 94% of the industry is women. Statistically, they do a census like every year actually. So I'm grateful y'all trusted me. Any last words? Any last questions? Cool. So for those of you who are looking to be content creators, readers, anything like that, I do offer coaching for those of you who want to pursue your work more seriously. And I primarily do work with content creators. I don't know if you saw, but I make a lot of videos per day, and I do strategically make those videos. A lot of them are going viral on TikTok is actually not that hard once you learn the recipe, which of course is trending sounds, trending hashtags, and then of course you need to know your audience. If you don't have an audience, that makes it a lot easier, I feel, because you get to play target practice on all the audiences and see what sticks. But I do teach people, my main business is teaching people how to make content and market themselves or their business. So if you have a business, if you'd like me to promote it, I offer that too. If you'd like me to teach you how to make content that goes viral for followers, if you'd like to build your own platform, everything that you've seen me do, like I said before, my first 14,000 followers came off of one post. Just today, I think I've gotten like a couple thousand followers just today off of a couple posts. And no matter what the subject is, there's always a special recipe to talk about what you want to talk about, whether you're talking about clothes, whether you're talking about spirituality, whether you're just telling a story about something that happened to you in the day, anything that you care about, there's a special recipe on TikTok on getting people to see your stuff. Otherwise, you wouldn't have been here, right? So I do teach people how to make content based on their own personal chart. Right now, I have about 12 students that I work with. Some of them I work for 90 days, some of them for 60, some for 30. I'm going to be looking at doing a 6-month option as well, just so that I can really like work with people. And a lot of what I do is coaching. So like a lot of people, what they'll do is they'll bring me a limiting belief and I'll just destroy it. I'll give them a plan and they have to follow the plan, or they don't. I can't make you do anything, but I'm not going to let you sleep on your own dreams. I'm not going to let you sleep on yourself, because I don't do that to myself. So why would I let you do that to yourself? So if you're interested in that, I definitely offer that as a service for you. That's going to be my main service as we go into 2022. I won't be doing readings. So if you want direct information from me, you won't be able to get it after this month, unless you're in one of these classes or unless I'm coaching you. I just need to kind of like limit access to myself. I feel like I've just been too public and people just didn't really take me for value. So I'm going to be limiting access in that way. So I wanted to share that with you since this is one of my last classes, to see if anyone's interested. And if you are, the price point is, it's a few $100s. I'll be honest, it's expensive, but the rewards are massive. Of course, you'll build a platform, you'll know how to make content. You can turn it into a business, which I've done. So I'll teach you how to do that. But if you also have no clue on how to do that, I'll teach you. It's not complicated. I went to school for business. haven't graduated, got a degree in business, in marketing. Primarily, my favorite thing in the world is technology. That's why I use it. That's why I love astrology, is because it's so technical, and making things that are complicated easy for people is something I've done since I was 14 when I got my first job. So anyone's interested, let me know. I would love to work with you. And that is all.
Thank you so much. I might in the future once I get my finances in order.
There won't be a future, but I hear you.
If we're interested in signing up for those these things, do we just go to your link that you provided, like in your TikTok?
So this is the sales sheet here. Running your business as a spiritualist or influencer. I will put this sheet in the link in my bio. Like I said, I'm closing this soon, like within the next like couple days. Because I don't want more people in my life. I actually want less people in my life, in my business, because I'm really teaching this to people because I feel like it's of value. And this is all the stuff that I've learned in the last 11 months. I literally, like I said before, I went from homeless to, I make a full-time income just off of making videos. I don't even need to charge for readings. I don't even need to do these classes. I do this stuff because people need help, and I know that. So everything I'd be teaching you, the total, I don't know if you can see this, but there's just tons of, you're really paying me for my time. And I give you all of these things. A lot of my clients, what we do is I'll sit with them and I'll basically look at their chart and say, yo, this day is going to be great for this, for posting this, for addressing this with your family, da, da, da. And while I'm showing you, I'm teaching you how to do it for yourself so that you can navigate your life better. And, you know, when we think about it, I'm helping you learn how to navigate your life for a couple $100, right? So sit with that, let it resonate with you. If it doesn't resonate with you, that's totally fine. Finances is something that I do take care of. I do have payment plans available. If most people do the 350 down, 350 in the half point of the month. If you can't do that, that's totally cool. I have other payment arrangements available. You just need to let me know that you want to actually change your life. I will work with people who actually want to change their life. If you don't want to work with me on this part, that's totally cool. I appreciate your time regardless.
Now, question, when you say you teach people how to be a content creator, is it just on spirituality or is just in general?
So I make music. I run my business. I market other people's businesses. I would prefer if you did spirituality. If you are someone who just wants to do art, you want to just focus on whatever you care about, like music, celebrity, whatever your chart is highlighting in your 11th house is what I'm going to focus on. So some of my clients are readers. I have a couple dudes in my class. One of them owns a business. The other one, he just left the corporate world and he's been wanting to like become he's becoming a healer. He's been traveling and learning how to grow mushrooms, psychedelic mushrooms, to like heal people. But he's just working through like some of his resistances around being on the internet publicly about it. So that's what we're addressing. One of my clients, she reads tarot. One of my other clients does fashion. It depends on what you want to do. At the end of the day, TikTok, I bought a course so that I could include in my business, because I've been on Instagram. Last year, I was on Instagram trying to create a business, and Instagram's the worst platform to make a business off of because you can't grow on Instagram. You can't grow on Facebook. You can grow on YouTube pretty quickly. You can grow on TikTok really quickly because the way the algorithm is set up, it's based on trends. No other algorithm on any of the social media platforms is based on trends. As a business, I was a business analyst for Best Buy. I don't know, has anyone here shopped at Best Buy before? Or
Yeah.
heard of it?
Yep.
So what I used to do for Best Buy is I was an IT analyst. What I would do is whenever they would drop a new phone, a new computer, a new printer, a new headphone, what I did was I would make so like this sales sheet here, I would make a graphic for the blue shirt. We just call them blue shirts. I would make a graphic for the blue shirts so that they could tell you as the customer what the computer does, why the computer is good. Because a lot of those people were like high school people or like, older adults that work there, and they just need to sell this stuff. So what I would do is I would give them the technical side, but make it make sense. Kind of like how we did here today. I'm taking this super complicated thing and making it make sense to you. So in regards to content, it's the same thing. I will teach you, and if you go and check out my Patreon, I already have some content over there about this. We have 49 patrons. Let's go. So I have some TikTok trends already up here. If you're in my Patreon, you already have access to this. I post trends so that you can go and use them. Now, TikTok is based off of trends, right? So if you want to talk about whatever you want to talk about, you just need to align it with the trends. And I always make sure to send out multiple ways. I even include the hashtags. I do everything. I literally do everything. You literally just need to make the video. I already picked it out for you. You just need to pick your niche. So I hope that answers your question in regards to content. And as a content creator myself, I know it can be very challenging on figuring out what to talk about, but I never run out of things to talk about because I always know what the trends are. I always have 30 trends that I have at my own personal disposal, and then I share a piece of that with the people that I coach. And that's what allows me to go viral daily.
Thank you.
Yeah. So again, if you're looking to build a platform, it's less than $1,000, which, just last week I got paid $350 for one post. It was an 8-second post, by the way. Not to brag, but it's just when you have a platform and people, companies especially, they rather pay you a few $100s than an employee a few $1,000s to do marketing for them. So if you're someone who's into fitness, into clothes, into jewelry, into anything really, there are companies who will pay you to post for them, to be an influencer. I would stay away from the influencer side and focus more on the content creation. But, I get paid off of just making videos daily by TikTok, by companies. And it's just a crazy opportunity because a lot of people, they feel like they have to work, and that's not true. The world is not the same anymore. Anyone have any questions about this? You're super welcome. Yeah, the age of Aquarius is about sharing information. Whoever can share information well is who's going to get rewarded. And I feel like that was one of the main reasons why I gained 300,000 followers in less than 11 months. That's not possible on Instagram.
Yeah, you're not wrong. I've been trying to grow my Instagram. I've seen more growth on my TikTok than like my Instagram and like the past.
Just stop doing Instagram, grow your TikTok. Once you have a solid community, then tell them to go follow you on Instagram. That's what I do. At the beginning of the year, I had like 3,000 followers on Insta. I took 1 week. Yeah, everyone drop your TikTok handle and follow each other. I took like 1 or 2 weeks and told people, hey, please go follow me on Insta while I did tarot readings. I was on live all the time. I'm actually about to go live as soon as I get off this with you so I can start chipping at something else I'm working on. But the world's changing. You don't need to work a job, but you do need to work. And if you have a plan, you're good. And if you look at my plan, even from 3,700 to 10K followers on Instagram, what did I do? I posted 3 to 6 videos a day. How long were those videos? 8 to 13 seconds long. Alexa, what's 6 times 13?
6 times 13 is 78.
What's 78 divided by 60? Alexa, what's 68 divided by, what's 78 divided by 60?
The answer to your calculation is 1.3.
1.3. So 1.3 minutes a day of video content got me to 300,000. And of course, obviously, I've made longer videos. But potentially, you know, TikTok's easy. TikTok's crazy easy once you know the formula, which I'll teach you. TikTok's easier than astrology. Thankfully. But yeah, if you're on my Patreon, you already have access to this stuff too for the $9.99 a month. Any questions? Cool. Gratitude. Well, send me an email, send me reviews. All of it helps for business. Like I said, I am in the very small less than 1%. So reviews do help greatly because people do struggle still in 2021 to trust Black men. So if you found value in this meeting, I would love to have a review, some nice words. You can send that to my email. You can send that to my DMs. You can make posts. If you want to stitch one of my pieces of content and just say, this class was this and that, just give whatever you want to share. I would love that. That would really show me that you support me. I appreciate the donations, whatever you were able to send. I think this is very valuable information, life-changing information. So anything that you can share back with me to, you know, balance out the, the connection is appreciated. And if you can't, if you have nothing to give in exchange, that's totally fine. You know, words are great. Affirmations are great. Thank yous. I don't really like thank yous. I prefer reviews. So if you could take a couple seconds to write a review on the last few hours that we've talked, I would love that. I would really appreciate it. If you can't, if you forget, I appreciate you showing up for yourself at least. I'm a Pisces. I don't mean to guilt you, but it's built in my code. But I'm gonna head out. I'm talking too much now, and I'll talk to y'all when I do. And this will be available. I'm gonna post it on the YouTube in a few moments here, as soon as it downloads. Where can you find my email? It is sunthepisces@gmail.com. It's also, if you go to the link in my bio on any of my platforms, like on Twitter, for example, you can just click the link in my bio, and my email is right here, sunthepisces@gmail.com. Also, this is where you can like send donations or whatever, but I do also have these courses here for you. This How to Read Your Birth Chart course, and then the New Moon Manifestation Kazemi guide from yesterday. And you can use this for every Kazemi. There's a Kazemi every single month. So definitely do that. And then I do have a fruit addiction. So if you want to donate or tip over here too, that's totally cool. I appreciate that as well. But yeah, gratitude again. Appreciate y'all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Totally.